Hello, my name is Michael Jagdao. I am broadcasting from North America. You might know it as Canada. Now, if you're wondering, yes, I do look like Franklin the Turtle. I do look like a coconut. I do look like a potato. Coconuts are rising, if you haven't noticed. Have you been watching the election? The coconut now leads the FBI. You ever thought that was going to happen? I want to welcome you to the AI show. Every show, we learn how to be more like ourselves. On today's show, we actually have a new guesting host in Ayden. And we also have Stu and GPSC, and hopefully Rocky and Good Vibes. Before I bring Ayden on, a quick story. I remember Amma and Rita Cox told me this one. Dr. Rita Cox, actually. They were once four friends. Truth, falsehood, water, and fire. Four friends. Truth, falsehood, water, and fire. They get hungry one day, and they hear that there's a mountain with a lot of cattle. So they say, okay, let's go get some cattle and let's start eating. We're hungry. So they go off, and halfway along the trip, falsehood takes water aside and says, hey, you know, water, if you quench or put out fire, there'll only be three of us, and more money for the three of us, more food for the three of us. Water does the calculation and says, you know, that's right. So water quenches fire, kills fire. And so there's only three now. So the three friends, truth, falsehood, and water, finally get to the bottom of the mountain. And as water's looking up at the top of the mountain with the cattle, it realizes, uh-oh, without fire, water can't get up the mountain. And so water has to stay at the bottom. So today, what we have is truth and falsehood arguing over who should get more cattle on the top of the mountain. Again, my name is Michael Jagdao. Welcome to the AI show on DeOrganized Media with Peace, Love, Music broadcast over Bitcoin Live DB. I noticed as I was starting the show that it's called DOM. We Do Media, DOM. I guess that makes you a sub. Hey, Peace. Ayden, GPSC, Stu, how's it going?
What's up, man?
I'm having a good time.
What an intro, calling the audience a sub, huh?
Well, we hope they subscribe.
Take it away, Ayden.
Well, how's it going, everybody? I hope y'all are all doing well. This is my second appearance here, and you know, this is my last week of classes, so in the future, I can spend more time on the show. It's very nice talking.
Very good.
All right, so one of the things that's been absolutely insane recently is the claims that we've been hearing about developments in AI, right? And so we've been hearing about AGI, artificial general intelligence, and we've heard it's around the corner. Guys, GPT-5 is going to rule the world. It's going to take all of your jobs, right? But what we're actually seeing is that the developments are not much. They're actually still similar to GPT 4.0. And so let's take a blast from the past, right? We had GPT-2 and GPT-3 in the OpenAI playground before this was so public, right? Even the developments from GPT-2 to GPT-3 were considered insane, right? These were world-changing. And GPT 3.5 Turbo, when that came out, I mean, it was amazing. It was so quick, right? This was like mind-blowing. And then we went from GPT 3.5 Turbo to GPT 4. And GPT 4 felt so intelligent, right? It was so smart. But a year later, we're about in the same place where we started, right? When GPT 4 came out. You know, if not, we might be going backwards a little bit because some people are saying ChatGPT is going woke. You know, I won't say David Meyer's name, right? So these are some things to think about. But so while everybody's so bullish on AI, I'd like to discuss how the developments are actually stagnating a little bit. And this is very similar to how computer processing has been developing, right? Because just from, the 1990s to the, let's say 2015s, right? It's just absolutely insane how computational power has exploded, and it's exponentially. But recently, when we look at technology like the RTX 4090, it's just an absolute power hog. It's powerful, but not like the developments before, and they're using all the power. And we're kind of seeing the same thing with AI, right? You're generating text, but what you're not seeing is the amount of power and water that you're using, right? So this is something I want to discuss more, because I think the way that we're going to navigate the future is going to be a little bit different, because instead of relying on AI to get so much better, we're going to have to change the way that we utilize AI to be more effective, because ultimately this is a text generator. So how do we utilize the text generate what we want, right? And so first, the thing is we have multiple models now. We have ChatGPT, right? So they got 4.0, 01 preview, which is like a chain of thought model. There's no actual thinking, right? We have Claude, and there's many more, right? And some of the models serve better purposes. So if you're a developer, Claude is much better with programming. It's more accurate than ChatGPT. I find ChatGPT to be more useful for more general subjects, right? Even like math, I would still consider ChatGPT better, because it'll display the math in proper like HTML format. So it'll show you the math as if you'd write it on the paper. Claude will just try to write it out with plain text. It's pretty atrocious, right? And so one of the ways I'm navigating the situation is the app I'm building called Pixel Labs. I am taking AI images and I'm running them through algorithms to convert them into pixel art. And the reason why I'm doing this is because we don't have pixel art models, right? And it would be a waste of my time to try to create one, okay? So this is how we need to take the existing technology, we need to learn to navigate it. And this is not a self-plug on what I'm building. I'm actually discussing how we need to navigate these new technologies, right? Because they're gonna keep growing, but it's not gonna be like we've been seeing the past few years, right? ChatGPT is not gonna go from GPT-4 to GPT-5 and take every single job and be super intelligent. And people on X will tell you that. But if you actually use the technology, you'll understand that's not necessarily the case, right? We're hearing lots of talks about AI agents and how they're going to take over the world. But who do you see actually using them to take over the world? Very few, right? There's lots of FUD, right? So let's take a realistic stance on this, right? And let's learn how to use the technology, and let's learn how to text generate what we need. I'd like to hear y'all's opinions on it. What has your experience been in the past year in terms of the developments on AI?
Stu, you want to start?
My experiences, well, first of all, I didn't know anything about AI, heard about it until I came across Michael. And when I was in one of his first spaces, created a digital version of myself, and the experience has went on from there to where with AI it has allowed me to create some games, and using Cursor and Claude and etc. So for me it's been an amazing experience, even for a man of my age. Like, I mean, I'm 50 years of age. Just literally 3-4 weeks ago, I still don't know how to code. I'm not saying by any means I know how to code, but by using this AI has been able to put this coding together to give an output, which has been absolutely fantastic and loads of fun. So yeah, for me it's been super great experience. So what would you, what else would you like me to answer on that there, or
yeah,
sorry.
Oh, good. That's fine. I'm putting you on the spot. Right?
You are.
You're not a developer. So my question to you is, how do you navigate scenarios where you're having issues in code and it's not necessarily solving them the way you want? How do you debug those issues without understanding the code very well? I think that's something very important.
That's what I've been having this trouble all last night with code, trying to figure out. I think there's that element of human logic as well, where you understand, you write it down, And then you're like, okay, well, how do I ask this question? And I'll actually go to ChatGPT and I'll go from that to Claude and back and forward to try and find a logic, which comes to a solution that it gives me an output. You know, that's how it's worked for me so far. But also using that human, going, okay, well, here's what I want, and it's not calling what, you know. So yeah, I don't know what's the best way to put that, but I go back from ChatGPT to Claude, back and forth through there. You know, I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but it kind of works. You know.
Well, it's what works for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
What I've been telling to people that are aspiring developers is, you do want to learn the fundamentals very well, and you don't want to have an over-reliance on AI, because when you do come to this problem solving, like you're saying, you don't want to have to go back and forth between LLM models trying to find what's going on if you could just already know, right? But it is really impressive how, as you're somebody who hasn't spent their whole life developing, right, and you're still able to build, right? That's
absolutely.
Really
It's but you're right as well, and this was something actually another gentleman actually mentioned in one of the spaces, Trip and Monkey. You can really get onto this merry-go-round of asking questions and ChatGPT just giving you answers, or Claude giving you this circle of answers, and you just keep on going around, and you just keep on getting further and further away from the actual goal of what you want. So it's so yeah, you have to be very clear on what you want, I think, and not just full reliance on the AI, you know. So, or you will get further away from the goal. That's definitely my experience. And back up everything. That's only definitely to keep on making backups. You know,
the query though, right? That's what Stu's hitting on, is that the query is the important part here. You know, how you shape the query, what you're asking it, and what you're feeding into it as well. You know, it's only as good as the information it has to go with. But yeah, Stu, you're not a coder. You don't know anything about coding, but you know how to use it to get an output, which is actually better. So it's an extension of, I'm not trying to talk over the show, but Ayden was saying something about, you know, AI is not going to take all of our jobs. And that's self-evident of any technology. Eventually, and it's not even because of the technology doesn't have the capacity to make some jobs obsolete, but basic economics dictates that there will always be a productive use with which to put surplus available labor towards. What AI is doing is making the available labor increasing the capacity of available labor to produce far beyond what we can even really imagine right now.
I think as well, like, I mean, if you look at this here, 4 weeks ago, this is something I wasn't doing. So all of a sudden, this is something I am doing. It's not taking a job away from anybody. It's just adding to it. Right. You know, so it's, you know, if that makes sense, you know, so yeah. But
you're more productively working now.
But I wouldn't have done this at all if it wasn't yet again for Michael introducing me and to this here, you know, from the Syndicate. Right. You know, it definitely would never have happened. It'd been too complex. Just way too complex to start down learning HTML and JavaScript and CSS and goodness knows whatever else. Like, you know, to be even to touch on the first ladder rank on the ladder with, you know, like Ayden is doing, you know, just would take way too long. And you know,
what Michael's doing is putting together the tools. He's bundling the tools that are available and helping people see how they can be applied to what they are trying to achieve.
Yes, you see, I think it's even slightly another, because people don't really know what they want to achieve. I think as well, you know, because all of a sudden, if you go, it's true. You know, I mean, all of a sudden you've got
what they can achieve, right? They're not sure.
But not even they don't know what they want to achieve, because all of a sudden you get Michael's coming along going, okay, look what I've made, and I'm going, I didn't even know I wanted to do that. But all of a sudden I'm going, shit, yeah, hey man, that's what I'm saying.
Right. Holy shit, yeah. I can do this.
exactly.
My
You know, yeah.
I'm a
It's
claustrophobe sometimes.
So, but yeah, so it's in this with the syndicate. They take this these barriers and this and they make it, you know, all of a sudden, hey, it's okay, it's safe to go and take a look, and it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to, you know, to just have fun with it and do whatever. And no, you don't, Hero. You definitely don't. But so yeah, I just want to think it's, and I think that more people should just download it, have fun with it, make mistakes, and swear at your computer. I mean, cursor definitely is. It's in the name. I've learned so many swear words now, so I can even swear in JavaScript now. So, but anyway, sorry, Ayden, back to you, my good man. Back to you.
Yeah, no, this is what we need, right? We need to hear from all sides. And so one of the things I run into, which you probably haven't ran into yet, is once your code base starts getting pretty large, I'm talking thousands of lines of code files everywhere, it starts to become less and less useful, right? So it'll really accelerate your path to start. And as you get further and further and further along, it starts to become less and less useful, right? It starts to lose the context of your code base. It starts to lose track of where you are. And so the code generation becomes very unreliable once you have tons of files and thousands of lines of code. And I know this because this is what I experienced on the project I'm working on, right? I am doing a lot more coding by hand now because the code base is getting so large, and you know, the AI can't fit that entire code base into its little context window, right? The context windows have been increasing, they've been getting better, but it still loses track, right? And so the way I'm navigating this situation is I understand my code base and I understand how it works. And so I created a type-safe API system, which this is technical, but basically when I make another API route, I'll copy one of my existing API routes into the file, and then I'll tell it, take this template and change it, and I'll tell it explicitly what I want it to do. And that way it will have a much higher degree of success. So maybe instead of a 20% success rate, right, we'll have, you know, we'll get 60% of the way there, we'll get 70% of the way there.
That's smart. That's smart.
Right, and that's the way to navigate this, right? And that's one of the things is that as you're ChatGPT coding, right, you're going to realize as you get further and further and further along, it's going to get more and more difficult. As the files get bigger, right, as your lines reach almost 1,000 lines, it's going to start to get pretty overwhelming, right? It's going to get difficult. And so that's the thing, is that when you're working as a developer, right, you're going to have these huge code bases. You're going to have, you know, hundreds, thousands of files, right? And so this is like another reason why I don't think AI is going to start taking everybody's jobs, right? It's definitely going to accelerate startups and MVPs, right? Front-end development, it's going to get a lot easier. It's going to take less time. But ultimately, these, especially the enterprise developer jobs, I mean, they're not going anywhere. I think anybody who develops for a living understands why AI can't just take all the jobs. But I do have the belief that it can definitely reduce the amount of developer jobs, right? But we're thinking like startups, right? And companies are realizing they can be more efficient by laying off all the lazy developers that aren't doing anything, right? The ghost developers. These people don't need to be in the workplace if they're not doing anything. They don't need to be paid six-figure salaries for doing nothing, right? I mean, this is a true phenomenon, right? So this is why we're seeing what we're seeing. And I've been saying this for a while, but as time goes on, the gap between the senior developer and the junior developer is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the people who are going to make it are the people that are truly dedicated, the people who really spend the time to learn the technology and to utilize the technology, right? Building with AI, it's amazing. It's super important to learn, and it's going to be impactful in all of our lives. But I'm tired of the like absolute intense fear over everything that's going to take all the jobs, it's going to do this and that. If you want to get ahead, learn the technology, right? Learn how to utilize it for your benefit. And I've heard the argument, but not everybody can be an AI developer. But that's not what they're telling you to do. They're telling you to use the technology to help with your job and help with your work, right? That's how you're going to get ahead, right? And so I want to ask the question, how has AI really changed the way that you've done your work? And I want to start with Michael, right? Because he's very, very, very big on AI, right? He's AI for everything, and he knows a lot, right? He introduced me to Notebook LM, and that's really helpful for school, right? Getting around these massive documents that they send me to read, right, and connect them. So let's hear it.
Yeah, so the question is, how is AI changing how I work? I don't know if you know Matthios. He's a behavioral therapist out in California, and he told me change the environment, change the behavior. So with the Syndicate, the idea there was to launch unicorns worth launching. And I look at unicorns not as companies, but as people. And I found that as I've learned AI, it allows me to focus more on the people aspect of the challenge the startup is trying to solve, and less on the software aspect of the challenge that's needed. And that's fundamentally changed everything, because before we would spend most of our mental cycles thinking about how to do stuff, right? On the operation side. But now it's like, okay, my friend Dave told me if the why is big enough, fuck the how. He was a bit crass with it, but he said if you want it bad enough, you'll figure out the how. So now I feel like I can actually focus on what people really want, knowing that if there's enough motivation, we'll figure out the how with AI.
Yeah, I do agree with this. And I think even in my life, it's definitely been impactful in that way, because I'm spending more of my time talking to people, understanding their needs, right, and building for their needs. So if I can spend less of my time trying to have to understand every single concept and how to build everything, and then spend a lot of time, right, writing tedious code from scratch, I mean, it really helps, right? And this is why I'm able to build more effective products that are useful for the people, because I don't have to spend all of my time trying to figure out all the little technical details, right? I can offload a lot of that to AI, like a personal assistant. I think
So it's not like I'm working less. It just allows me to spend more of my time understanding why I should build in the first place.
well, and it allows you to understand why you're building it and who you're building it for. Because when you're building, you have to build with the consumer-centric mindset. Or if you're B2B business, right, and you think about business, you're not building it for yourself, right? It can start that way, but ultimately, if you're building actual product, I mean, if you're building it for yourself, just make a command line application, right? So, for sure. Well,
I
I was
like
just
these
gonna
moments. No, I
continue.
love it.
I'll keep going if you want.
Yeah, it's all yours. You're the leader of the future. The reason I told Rocky this. Rocky asked me, "Hey, what do you think the future of the AI show is?" And I was like, "I don't know. Let's get Ayden and Tina to take it over," because your perspective is something that I actually cannot have. Does that make sense? Because I was born before the internet. So our experiences are fundamentally going to be different. And I know that my perspective is not the be all and end all. And because you're in school working and using this for like very professional companies, I think people like Rocky's mentees with Red Block Labs, yourself, Tina, Tian, I look at you guys and I'm like, man, how do I just make sure that all of my important friends know what you're working on? Because I really believe you guys are inventing the future using playbooks that people are going to write about in 10 years that aren't even formed yet.
So I think one of the things that's very beneficial with my generation specifically is that we did grow up with the internet, but we got to saw how it grew with time, right? I remember when I was younger, even like just how much different everything was. And the people that are young nowadays haven't seen all of that. And so, yeah, I wasn't necessarily born in a time with no internet, but I got to see how the technology grew over time. And that was really important to shape my mindset, right? And to understand the opportunity that we have now with the new technology. I mean, a lot of the stuff we talk about with development is how you know, we have binary code, and then now there's C, C++, and they'll compile to binary, or they're compiled to assembly, right? Now we don't really write in assembly, we'll write in C and compile it. And oh, you're losing some control, now you got Python, which is like a C wrapper. So, now you're writing in Python, it's interpreted by C and converted to assembly and converted to machine code. And then, well, where are all the punch card developers at, right? Where are they at? So the field changes over time. That's what we're seeing with AI, right? We're seeing how the field is changing over time and how we're utilizing this technology so that we can spend less time writing code and more time solving problems. And so as a software developer, you're not here because people like to watch you type on a computer screen, Yeah, funny colors, words, right? Fancy symbols. We're here to solve problems. We're here to build for the people, right? We're here to solve the problems of the companies, right? We're here to induct, company research tests, right? Build applications they want for research. Ultimately, that's our goal. And I think that's a really important mindset to have, especially nowadays, right? Especially with lots of the doomerism going on nowadays. AI has taken over the world. I have no future. I mean, I have been seeing this online.
Mm-hmm.
Young people have no future because of AI. And I wonder what they've been seeing to make them conclude that, right? Because if you're a builder, you know that AI cannot build everything for you. That's the message they want to sell you. Look, ultimately, if OpenAI had a chat GPT that could build any program in the world with just a couple prompts, they wouldn't share it with the public. That's a superpower, okay? The technology is great, but it's not world-changing to the point where anybody can go and type a few words and build a complex application that can handle thousands of users and scale the database and backend. And you know what I mean? You still have to know a lot. And my biggest point that I want to drill home is that LLMs are next word predictors. They are not critical thinkers. They are word generators, right? So we use the word generators to help guide us, but ultimately we have to critically think about what we're doing. So when we hear Stuart saying how the query, the prompt is very important, it's important because you have to think. You have to know what you want to do and how to do it, right? It can help you along the way, and it can give you suggestions, and you get to choose whether you follow those suggestions, whether you're going to believe them or not. But ultimately, it's up to you to critically think. People don't want to do that nowadays, which is, I understand.
That's why it's so funny. Sometimes when people complain to me about AI, I'm like, it's just a mirror. Why would you get upset at the mirror for? Just rub it a bit.
Well, that's true. It is. It's not going to do your thinking for you. You do have to actually, and to be honest with you, we shouldn't want it to. That's actually for the best of what I can tell anyway, from my perspective, we are here to have experiences. And if we're here to have experiences, but we don't want to think about these experiences, well, then why?
It's like hiring AI to go have your dinner for you.
Yeah. Or, we had golden curry again last night, Michael. I mentioned, it's like having the AI go have your golden curry for you.
Did you think about me while you were eating?
I thought about you when I noticed that's what my wife was making.
It's so funny.
If I ever get rich and invest in robot technology, we're going to figure out how to automate doing the dishes, folding laundry, because I hate it, right? Why are we having AI automate art when it can automate our dirty dishes? I mean, who here likes cleaning dishes?
So you're saying we need Rosie.
It's so funny that
Rosie the robot.
I think it's funny that, like, of all of the gifts, if there is a God, of all of the gifts we have, it's the power of foresight and thought. And to want to abdicate that? Nah, dude. I like my brain, you know? It might not have a huge context window, right? But it does apparently have more parameters. That's still useful. Yeah, we should not just give up all our gifts from God just because we have a machine that can help us answer JavaScript console log errors faster. Yeah.
You know, it's just like a screwdriver. A screwdriver helps you screw in screws, but you have to kind of come up with where you're going to use that screw and why you're going to use that screw. The screwdriver actually makes more jobs, makes more things to do, not less.
In Russia, screw you. Yeah. Can't spell AI without Russia, right? Vinny asked, given what Ayden just said, what do you think about AI trading? Any thoughts, guys? AI trading? We talked about, a dystopian future where people connect their wallet to ChatGPT and say, hey, figure it out. What do you think is the future for AI trading?
So results vary. I'm not a trading expert, right? I don't trade often. But yeah, that is a little scary. But I think if you have money to blow, right? If you're going to invest in meme coins anyways, it's not the end of the world to give it to an automated robot and just see what happens. It's not much different from gambling all your money in a meme coin. I don't think
you don't get to pull the lever and watch all the lights spin.
We create the AI trading bot, but it's like a gambling program, right? you spin the lever and then it'll invest in a meme coin.
It's funny, I had a friend of mine, before they outlawed poker, online poker, like 15 years ago, this guy was making bank playing poker online, and he used to play 8 hands at the same time. I'm not sure even him, an expert poker player that can play 8 games at one time, can necessarily design an algorithm that plays better than he does. And I've talked to Landy about this. A lot of people ask Landy about the AI trading, but there are, there's observe, orient, decide, act. There is a space between decision and action. You know what I mean? And that's where the trader makes their money, right? The separation between deciding and acting. And so when it comes to AI testing, what we do have the ability now with AI is to back test algorithms faster than we ever had. So if you have a thesis when it comes to trading, ask ChatGPT to act like an actuary from McKinsey and come up with an actuarial investment model based on a bunch of constraints. It'll do it. And you can have it write the Python for it and have Python and a Google Colab notebook do the back testing. So we can actually back test faster than ever. But the ability to make money and lose money is obviously faster. There are stories about, I think it was Knight Capital. Look up Knight Capital. I think they lost $400 million in a single morning because one of the code bases didn't push to one of the servers. So, a lot of opportunity. It's an opportunity surface, let's say. Yeah, but you can backtest faster than ever.
For sure. So before I start heading to my last public speech class, I'd like to talk about this last message from GPSC. So he said, you still have to prompt the AIs to take actions. How do we take the person out of the equation completely? And my answer to that is you don't and you can't. What happens when you take people out of the equation is it goes absolutely crazy, or it gets stuck in a loop and prompts itself forever. So, like I mentioned before, because the AI can't critically think because it's a next word generator at the core, we still need people in the equation, and I don't think that's ever going to change. And even with AGI, I think if that ever becomes a reality, I think it's still going to need human assistance to not go crazy. I mean, even like when you're training the model, it's all human written content, right? I mean, now it's going to be trained off of its own AI content and self-destruct. right?
But
So
somewhere
when it-
there's a human in the chain, no matter what you do. It's all programmed by a human at one point. So you can't take the human out of the equation entirely.
but let's play devil's advocate. What if you do? So let's take the human out of scenario, and we're going to train AI with AI generated text. So what happens? Well, it creates a negative feedback loop or positive feedback loop. It creates a feedback loop, but it doesn't know what's right or wrong. It doesn't know what the text should look like. So it's just going to go in an infinite loop and self-destruct. So that's what happens when you take the human out of the loop. So
Well, that's the thing. Right now, it can't criticize it can't learn from its own against its own biases. Like it's already got its biases programmed in by the human, where we have the capacity. Some of us have the capacity to integrate new information and change our mind, change our perspective, change our opinions about things. The AI doesn't have the capacity to do that on its own yet. But even when it does, you still got a human that created it eventually backwards.
I think Baudrillard said that the apocalypse wasn't created by a nuclear war or a pandemic. It was caused when humans ceased to be the sole reason of things, and the machines took on a reasoning of their own. What I see with a lot of ordinal collections, for example, is artists conforming to the technology, not the other way around.
all right, I'm going to hand this over to Michael. I hope we could really reflect on what we talked about and hopefully reduce the amount of fear, right? And think more about how we're going to utilize the technology and move forward instead of adopting this black pill doomer mindset that people are doing. And I know us in this group, we're not going to do that, but I really want all the people in the audience to consider how they can utilize technology to improve their own lives and projects instead of just being so scared about it. As long as you remember that the companies are lying to you, it's never as good. It's never as good as they say, right? They want the money from the investors. All right, so that's my ending point.
We're still on camera.
Yeah.
Ayden, do you mind telling everyone about Pixel Labs, the next $10 billion idea? I heard about it from someone.
Well, it's not just an idea, right? It's actually an application I'm building out. And so I have the landing page up. It's pixellabs.org. And what I'm creating, I'll piggyback on what I was talking about earlier about adjusting to our AI technology. So I'm creating a program that can convert normal images and AI generated pixel art into actual pixel art. So I've custom created some algorithms, a lot of work, a lot of math. But what happens is you can generate pixel art with AI, right, which will give you a representation of pixel art, and you can put it through the program, and you can get actual pixel art. So generate some variations. It'll run through some color optimization techniques, and then you have a result. So you can add that result to your library. You can open it up in the editor. You can generate variations, layers. You can change up the colors, right? So you can create collections. You can create game assets quickly if you're prototyping. And ultimately, my goal is to make it easier for people to get started. And this isn't a tool to drive artists out of the industry. It's actually a tool to help artists, especially those that struggle with inspiration, right? It's a lot easier to edit something than it is to create something completely from scratch, right? That's why artists use references. So this is one of the things that is intended to help all audiences, whether you're an artist, whether you're a game developer, whether you're into Web3 and you want your collection on the blockchain. It's for everybody, right? And ultimately, this is proving very useful. Many people are just having a blast generating images and converting them to pixel art and, adding it to their portfolio, right? This is something I'm very happy to be creating. Definitely running into lots of technical challenges. Right now we're in a closed alpha, so we have a few testers going on, and there's still lots of development to do. But I have the landing page up, which Michael is showing right now. So you can see the features, you can see what's planned, and ultimately, this is real, right? This is not just me making a landing page saying, hey, this is what it could be. This is what I'm actively working on, and we have it working. So we're working on building this product so that it can be released to the public so people can utilize it and supercharge their art creation skills, right?
That domain is Pixel Labs.
It's PixLabs,
Pixlabs.
pixlabs.org.
PIX Labs.
So Ayden, sorry, do you mind telling them again what this is now that I have this up before you go? For the artist out there, for the GPCs out there, what does this do?
You can generate images with AI and convert them into real pixel art. That's the biggest selling point of this app. If you want a real pixel art collection, or if you want real game assets, you can do this now using my program. This has not really been done before, right? I mean, we've looked around online. You can't generate pixel art with AI, right? You can generate a representation of pixel art. So how do you get it to pixel art? Well, you need the custom algorithms that I wrote. Or you can write your own, and I wish you luck because it was cool. Yeah, this is what the app strives to do. I mean, it's not just about pixel art. If you look at this image, we have color optimization techniques. So the image on the left has thousands of colors, millions, I don't know. The image on the right has 32. That's what this is about. This is next generation image processing.
It has this is 32?
Yeah, it's either 32 or 64 colors.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's pixel art?
The one on the right's not pixel art. This is just color techniques, which we use these color techniques in the pixel art because when you're making pixel art, you need a defined palette, right? So you can see in these images, there's a defined palette going on, right? So you don't want thousands of colors in your pixel art. That's too much to deal with. So that's what these are for.
Very cool.
This is nuts. This one I think is going places. When I see what you can do with these complex images.
So this started out as a prompt, a textual prompt?
Yes. Yeah, that pixel art image, it was just an AI prompt. And then I ran it through the program to make it pixel art. And this one was also ran through the color optimization techniques. So we reduced the thousands of colors into a palette.
Very interesting.
So this image right here shows what happens when you reduce the colors a ton. So I think this was it was like 16 or something colors. So it's actually you can see where it says generated palette. How many colors is that? 5, 10, 11, 12 colors. So that image has 12 colors. And the original image had thousands of colors, right? So ultimately, it's about the level of detail that you want.
That's
Very
nuts.
interesting.
Yeah, that's wild.
So GPSC, as Ayden has to duck out, what do you see as the promise with all of this?
Well, for me as an artist, you know, I'm not a pixel artist by any means. So what I would like to see is me be able to create, you know, images in my style and, you know, plug it into Pixel Labs and have the algorithms run on it and it turn into real deal pixel art, you know. It takes a lot of talent to be a pixel artist, knowing shading, different highlights, all of that comes into account whenever you're making pixel art. And you know, I can make some pixel art, but this is an awesome tool. You know, if I were to create a storyboard and then put it in a pixel art format, I can do that. You know, with Pixel Labs. that was my idea. Is I want to be able to make different pixel stories, maybe create a pixel art collection, utilizing the tools that Ayden's working on.
Join the wait list. If you
Thanks,
want to have
Ayden.
early beta access, join the wait list.
Join the wait list.
Here's my self-plug. I'm going to hand this over
am-
to Michael. I enjoyed the show. I'm going to have to head off for my last public speaking class. It was very nice.
Enjoy.
Very nice speaking with all y'all.
Thank you, Ayden. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it, man. Super excited about all you're doing, man. Keep it up.
I love the support. All right, y'all. Y'all take care. Y'all take care.
Let's go. We'll promote the house. We'll get that SIP passed.
All right. Amazing.
Thanks, man.
Incredible. Jeez, dude. Stu, you still there?
I'm here, man.
Boobity-boobity.
All good. Oh,
Sorry.
boobity, man. Top of the morning to you, man. Hey, what's the crack here? Jeez, here we go. Here we go. It was going really well. Just till now. Here we go. This is where the whole
Look,
thing just goes.
Aiden's gone.
Yeah.
Peace. Now when he calls me, I'm like, hoopity boopity. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything.
It actually
So-
does. It actually does. It actually does. It's yeah. It's. I'm off to get flour and milk at the local store.
I'll,
Does it-
I'll be right
doesn't it
back,
feel like
Abby.
the teacher just
Hoopity
left the
boopity.
room? Now they're back.
So let's look at
interacting
the
with
evolution of. So let's look at the evolution of potato stew. Stew, I'll
I knew it was
cooperate
coming.
this
I knew it was
time.
coming.
Yeah. It's Hi guys. So listen. What are you going to share up on screen there first, Michael?
Can you see my screen?
Hold on. Let me throw it up.
Okay, super. So, what we've done now, somebody came up with this idea the other day. I think it was Trip or Zenitron or even Michael. I can't remember. But somebody says, listen, or even Good Vibes might have been. I can't remember now. But anyway, what if we could actually have hidden images within the image? So what we're doing now is going to try and the first layer was just to have, come along and play the game. What if we can actually incentivize this here now? So all of a sudden, now what we're going to, I'm working on this here at the moment, so you can click on the image, then the image, click on next, save, then next. Go to the top now, Michael, the top image, just click on hidden image. For example, we'll just click on Good Vibes. There's the first one, boom, just click on save. There you go to the next settings at the top here. You'll put in your hidden message, just type in Good Vibes, whatever, I'm potato, here he goes, fucking hell. Hello potato, there you go, hello world. Click on save, and next thing you go to your rewards. And yet again, I've been working this, guys, it's nowhere, it's not ready, it's not anything, but I'm just giving you an idea. So all of a sudden now you can reward the user an NFT, a whitelist, or even just a token. Should it be whatever token you decide, a 1, 2, so all of a sudden you're getting this return player. Or you can, if you want, for example, listen, Giga, he now wants to do a whitelist. Well, guys, go along and play with the art. Then once you've got that there, you can actually put in the word that was generated there, and that there gets you automatically onto whitelist. So we have to create now the aspect of how to create your wallet, how to not be able to gamify this here. Will the word be regenerated each time? You know what I mean? So there's no, for example, Michael comes along and he wants to gamify the fucking thing, and he's going, well, I know the magic word, and share it everywhere on Twitter, and off we go. So we're going to do a randomized word each time, so it's so it's fun. This is the next level of the slider. Michael, what's he laughing at? He's found something fucking funny.
This guy's gonna fuck around and build a DeFi service by accident. Holy
It's
crap. Do you realize that,
So-
potato? Or sorry, Peace? You see what he's doing here? This is fucked.
So all of a sudden you've got this return. Playing it once, okay, so yet again, great job. I've come along and played with Gigapepe's art here. It's amazing, fantastic, great. I've got a score. Am I going to maybe play it again? I'll get a second score. But after that, you're like, well, okay, it's not really okay, I've done it once, twice, three times, or unless you're doing for a giveaway online or whatever, you're not going to. But if you're actually incentivized to come back to it each time, well, there's a whitelist, or there's a token to be rewarded. But if you maybe, Giga, now you're doing what do you call it? The art for Tremp, for example. All of a sudden, well, each time you play, you can get maybe, I don't know, 1 Tremp or 2 Tremp, who knows, whatever. It's irrelevant. So that's that level. It's been, there's lots of work to do to it. I definitely need help here, in the bigger end of it, how to connect wallets and all this shenanigans and making it safe. And yeah, and if people have ideas, please throw them at me. And yet again, all this here has become helpful, become into place because of Michael and his help, so it's, so yeah, you can choose your token, put in the amount, and have fun with this. So this is the admin section of it here, so. No, not quite.
How do you build into it competition? Like, how do you make it? So I don't know if you paid attention last week, we were doing the SIP contest, and there was Gimkit and there was Kahoot, and they have like these competitive different quiz games, right? So how do you make it so that there's some kind of competition and competition for the reward that's built into the game?
Well, at the minute, I'm just purely looking at a simple, everybody comes, everybody gets rewarded type thing, okay? So if you come along, if there's a whitelist of, say there's 50 spaces, well, there's 50 spaces, that's it. It'll knock down until there's none left. Or if the token, everybody gets a token until there's none of that token left to give out, okay, at the moment. Yet again, that's maybe version 3. All of a sudden now we can have a competitive with the leaderboards or whatever it is, who knows? It's I haven't thought that far yet, It's there's limited space in here,
Yeah, well, you're still working on something. I'm not, obviously. You got to get there, right? But I see that. I see the use there for. So those competition games are a way for us to actually gamify educating people on SIPs, per se.
Absolutely.
So,
Listen, this is to win
an NFT, which we can do, but if it's all within the game itself, which is on chain, and then it doesn't have to be, we can actually play those games on that platform instead of on Kahoot or Gimkit or whatever.
It's yet again, as I said, this could be potentially skinnable and change whatever way the idea, and maybe this will give somebody else an idea going, you know what, he's actually done that way. Well, I have a better idea or in a different way, and that's brilliant. So that maybe will spark somebody's initiative to go off and do something else, which is fantastic. So
let me share the other games you've created, because you've gone from game developer to DeFi service creator, essentially. Like, I know where you're going with this. This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. I would have never expected you to, not to say that like you're not smart enough to do it, because you understand the sales of NFTs. You did the 100-day giveaway with Bit by Bit. You had the biggest audience of anyone, with like 3,000 people a week. And so I always had like this inkling that everything that you knew from the sales side, from doing those shows and bringing people out, would one day leak into this work. And you showed me the game, which is the puzzle game. We have the potato here, and we can do the the sliding things over. Like, for example, we can use stone, and we can do a bunch of stuff, put things in the middle, and it works.
Absolutely.
Right?
So what we've actually done here as well, and this was a great idea from yourself. What if we can, if you actually go back a level there, Michael, just go back to gallery.
Sure.
Yeah, if you go back to gallery and back again, just back to and scroll up. Sorry, man. You're okay. Just tap in there. Okay, scroll. So there, all of a sudden, we've put in banners for the POM community here. So, which was a great idea. Like, I mean,
Whoa, it just changed.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So yet again, it's giving because I do want these the ordinal communities to join into Stacks. I do want them to come over here and take a look, see what's happening. And this is a really just a friendly way to take a look. And because if they're looking here, they're going, okay, this is pretty cool. These guys are offering something which I don't have to. And they get the it's a link to their art. Maybe somebody, and you know what? If even one person buys one of their ordinals, well, you know what? That's a success. You know, and then we can duplicate that. You know, so. So yet again, getting people to come along and just have fun with no expectation of something else from that, like, you know, so it's it's just purely a fun aspect. Click on it, maybe it works, maybe you like it. If you want to play it, do. If you don't like it, don't. Simple as, you know, so it's good technology, you know. Jesus, I think the more of this here, the idea that I want, let's have fun, because how many people want to play a game who just want to waste some time? That's number one. How many artists want to come along and play a game or have their art been, you know, interacted with? So this is the next level, guys. So you've seen the hero. Let's do hero, because obviously we've got a hero on here, and all of a sudden you've got hero. What does hero do? Hero fires tacos. You know, you can't really see it that well on the screen here, but he's firing tacos. And so you can have laser now, and it's going through all different things and blah blah blah, and you're killing all these other terrible blockchains out there, and so yeah, this is here. We've done, obviously this would not be complete without doing one for Jack. So you can just if you can, you can boom. Trying to get sound involved in this here. If you would just scroll, there we go, boom. So obviously this was perfect. You know, there was nothing, you couldn't done it any better. Then you can actually, if you go to level, just click on level 6 actually. So we have the big boss, final boss. So he's a motherfucker. Good luck getting past him without the god mode. And yet again, this is fun. And can we add elements of tokenization to this here? Absolutely, we can. There's so many different things. You know, if you play every day, come back and play with us here, maybe you'll get 1 or 2 tokens. And so you know, we've and this is what you see. Once you go, try and kill him there, Michael. And it's so there, and what do you go? Once you just thought you're safe and you almost had him got it, you know, well, guess what? You have to get rid of these little shits as well, like, you know, so.
Is the ship a PNG asset or a SVG?
It's PNG, my good man.
That's just,
you know,
brilliant,
and
bro.
Maybe, you know, and if you go back again, Michael, just one quick one, and then we'll just run, obviously then for Tenmetsu. Tenmetsu, what a great guy with his tokens and his great connection to the community here. Yeah, super. Just click on that one, scroll to the top and play. Absolutely. So he's given me all these little images, and they're slightly different, and there's no. This was quite fun putting together. And if we just go straight on to the last one, Michael, just click on 6, and there's all different gods, different aliens in there. So you've got this big one, slightly different, does the same thing again. Happy days. You know, perfect. So, yeah, as I said, if anybody wants to have this on here, or if maybe has an ideas to make this better, you know what? I'm all ears, and you know, it's fun. It's just purely for fun. And how can I make this better? There's so many different ways. First of all, interaction, repetition, people playing with the art, maybe people getting tokenized, creating whitelists in here. It goes on and on and on. The idea, bring people together, have fun. That's it. Over to you, my good man.
Yeah, the whitelist and like earning tokens to play the game, the whole DeFi aspect that you're building into this is really interesting. You know, seeing this develop like over like it's what is it? You've been coding with AI for a month, and now you're like building with AI and putting DeFi into your applications, ways to earn, the whitelisting, all of it, and you know, marketing for these different artists as well is brilliant. The concepts coming all together are really cool, man. Seriously.
I appreciate that there, and thank you, but I need help. And why do I need help? I need help from you. I need help from the different artists to go and, hey guys, take a look at this here, because and you saying just, you speak to another artist and you go, actually, you can have your art on here, but guess what? Because their community will look at it then, but that's actually helping yourself as well. So it's a win-win for everybody. It's that's the only help I need.
Yeah, I'll.
So yeah, that's me.
Yes.
So you need help getting more artists onboarded to the game.
Yeah,
More,
basically,
you need more art on there.
I need more art on there, because the more art on there, more people are going to come and take a look at it. The more they're going to look at different arts, different things. And out of all of this here, now, as I said, if one person buys a piece of art because of this here, that's a success. That's an absolute success. Okay, how about combining the puzzles with different artists? Okay, almost 100 pieces. Oh, Jesus, Mary. Yeah. It's so yeah.
If only there was someone creating some kind of multi-pieced 100-something piece collection in some kind of block web type of development. I think he's even on there. But no, that's there's some really cool stuff there, Stu.
I appreciate it.
And it's like every week it's like more and more developed, more and more stuff going on there. It sounds like really any NFT community should be reaching out to you with their NFTs to, it's not just art, it's because the NFTs are art, but it's not necessarily just art. It's also the community piece there.
Can we do one more thing? Just quickly show one more thing. Michael, can you bring up the screen on sliders again, please?
Absolutely. So, is it? No, sliders is different than nuzzle, right? Okay.
Yes, sliders, please. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Uno momento.
Because we did add, I forgot to mention this here. This was quite a fun part. Yet again, just go back to the game. Load, scroll down, please. That's nozzle, my good man, I think.
My bad. What's the URL? Is it top?
Just go.
Isn't that what it was?
Just go to slider. Yeah, perfect.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Okay, popping that one there. Doodle-doot. Scroll down, please. Scroll down.
Okay, sorry.
Jesus, you never fails to amuse me. Bit more, tinkle more, a little tinkle more. Right at the bottom. And video fun is not loading for some reason. Oh, shoot. Oh, boom.
You're having your Steve Jobs moment.
I am actually. I'm having a Steve Jobs moment. What a bummer. It was really good until then. My goodness, why is it not doing this? Oh, shite. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here. This is how
next week.
This is how it really happens. 1 second. If I just go to slider, why is it not loading?
Tune in next week.
Yeah, exactly. Always be launching. Yeah, it's your computer because it's playing here. It's strange. Yeah, but anyway, listen. What I've done as well, we've added in actually video clips, and the video clip is actually becomes the puzzle, but it still plays in the video clip, but it's playing at the same time. Perfect. So, guys, always be launching, as Rocky says. ABL.
Thanks, Peace. Thanks, GPSC. Shout out to Ayden, who helped with the hosting today. That guy is on a rocket ship right now, a rocket ship that he's building his own thrusters, but we have a good, while small, a very good team. And you don't need a large team when people like Stu, who don't know how to code, are creating new games and DeFi services every week. You just ask them what they need and then get out of the way.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you guys so much for participating, and thank you for doing this again on DeOrganized and giving us the opportunity to share this with our community as well. I love what you guys are doing, and we're really, we're all, I love how much we're all kind of growing together. at the same time, together alone, if you will.
I thought it was menopause. Sorry.
I don't wish that experience on anybody. Adjacent experience.
Steve's on the other side of it, so he can tell us what it's like.
Why'd you have to ruin
it's all in front. It's, the only thing, Michael, all I can say is all in front of you, my good man. Enjoy.
You're gonna get me back one day.
Oh, listen, that's fine.
We are DeOrganized Media. This is the Syndicate AI Deep Dive coming at you live on Bitcoin Live Decentralized Broadcasting. And every Tuesday morning, check us out. We will be here with Michael until Ayden takes his job. And Stu, GPSC, love you guys. We'll chat with you guys later. Tune in a couple hours. We got Landy coming on to do the next lesson of Learning TA with Landy. And we will be back at you live shortly. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace out. Thank you, guys.